This is an analogy I want to bring you from a story that happened in the oddest of places. So, what every person does every year is 2 times a year, we go to the dentist. We sit in this chair, we open our mouth up, and we let someone pick, prod, scratch, drill, and we just accept it. And it was about 2.5 years ago that I was sitting in the dentist chair. And your downtime is fairly high in this case. You're listening to maybe whatever conversation you're talking with your dentist, trying to answer when your mouth isn't being cleaned. And a lot of times my mind goes in a lot of different places because, like I said, you've got a lot of time to think about when you're sitting in the dentist chair. Well, today on this message, I want to share what hit me in that moment. And that emotions are a lot like the dentist. But the reason I want to dive into this is because there is this weirdness to going to the dentist that isn't weird, and it's very acceptable. We literally accept as a society, as a Western culture, that it is perfectly fine for you to go into the dentist and get your teeth cleaned. What does cleaning look like? It means they're going to find the areas where you daily missed, to go into the nooks and cracks of your mouth and really make sure you get all that stuff out. All the plaque out, all those little bits and pieces that you didn't. They're going to floss. Then they're going to maybe find a cavity where you didn't take care of your teeth in a proper way. And then they're going to go in there and drill into it, drill down a little bit, remove that bad part, and then they're going to put something on it to seal it up. We accept that as normal. But if you're sitting in the dentist chair, there's nothing normal that feels normal about that. I mean, the idea of you open your mouth, someone sticking their hands in there, that in itself is almost something that just seems like, really? This is normal? It is. We accept it regularly. And the analogy I want to draw to is, think of how many people feel terrified to go talk to a therapist, a counselor, or even a coach. There is so much fear around opening up our emotions. But literally, we open up our mouth twice a year to be inspected, prodded, scratched, and drilled without ever questioning whether it's okay, whether even just sitting there, you might know you have a cavity, but you don't really know, but you're okay accepting it. Why is it that we're okay sitting in the dentist chair, but not talking about our emotions? What is it about our emotions? Because they're not even real. Our emotions are just made up set of chemicals in our head based on the feelings and events that are going on. Plaque is as real as it can get. And we're okay acknowledging that. And we're okay getting someone to go in there and get rid of it. But why do we bring such a stigma to emotions? What is it about emotions that make it so vulnerable? Well, I can say from my own life, people judge us based on how we feel a lot. And exposing something often kind of makes us feel vulnerable. I feel like because we all accept going to the dentist, we all accept, and no one really compares who had the most cavities. I mean, how many times have you ever had a conversation at a bar and said, how many cavities did you have this year? That conversation has never happened because we just accept people take care of their business that they need to take care of. Why is it that we're still so fear-based around our emotions? We have confidentiality agreements to protect us with the therapy. We don't have to say that we're going to therapy. It's completely done in a vacuum. But yet, taking that first step seems like it's 10 miles long. But yet, going to the dentist is something we do regularly. So, I want you to think about, maybe you've been putting off going to therapy. Maybe you've been putting off acknowledging an emotion for the first time. If you do go to the dentist, I want you to ask yourself a hard question. Why do I do that and not this? Because your emotions are just like the plaque. They get into all these nooks and crannies. And you living your life only touches probably like 20%, if not less, not more, less of the real emotions that you feel every day. So how do you cultivate an idea, a journey, a process to go through that? Well, really, it begins with acknowledging it, which hopefully this episode, and they've been listening, many of the other episodes, have done, but really take a hard look that why do I go to the dentist, but I'm so afraid to admit I have emotion problems, that I need someone to go into those nooks and crannies and help me understand what that emotion really means, to drill it out, maybe metaphorically, to really get it figured out so that way we can seal it up and no longer be tied down to that emotion anymore. What is it about that scares us? That is a question I want you to ask yourself. If that sounds interesting, if that sounds like, man, I could really use that, if that is something you have struggled with, reach out. Let me know. Ben@benkaloy.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know. I'm always willing to have a conversation, always willing to be metaphorical dentist for you in this case of that analogy, because I can't tell you how many times I'm talking to a dad, and oftentimes they'll be like, Ben, I've been in therapy for 2 years, and I just figured out more in 15 minutes with you than I have in 2 years of therapy. Now, that's not to toot my own horn. That's to tell you that the process of going to the dentist can be really quick. You're in, you're out, you're done, you're back onto life. That is what coaching is. Coaching isn't something to acknowledge. Coaching isn't something that holds you back. Coaching is really, let's just get in there, figure it out, move beyond it, and see where you want to go. That is the process of coaching, and I'm always here, ready and willing when you are. Again, my email is ben@benkaloy.com, and I look forward to seeing you in my inbox. And as always, I'll be back again with you tomorrow.